I get that Bitcoin is volatile. It's always been volatile. But a $9,000 move in 4 hours, even for Bitcoin, that seems bonkers.
Okay, but I want to take you back to 2021, the lead up. And so you had Bitcoin correct 10% or more 13 times on the March in 2021 from 3,800 to 69,000. And so this is the first big correction. I guess one of the other things we should be talking to people about is that it's a 50% move from the beginning of the year or since the inception of the ETF. So at some point, it would had to have had a correction. Now, it turns out because you can detect these wallets and you can see what's moving on the Bitcoin blockchain, it looks like some wallets had released Bitcoin that were mined in 2010. So a big whale out there decided to dump his Bitcoin into the market at the same time as the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is dumping because of the high fees associated with it. And so, Brian, those two things caused the dip. But, Bitcoin's got a bid again tonight. I have a bit clock in front of me. It's trading 63,727 or thereabout. So it did bounce off of 59. And you know this because, you're a technical guy like me. You get to a high that hasn't been reached in 2 years. You could see a flood of sellers there on an interim basis. So I don't read too much into this. And I'll say to you that what will surprise Bitcoiners is it getting through the all-time high prior to the halving, which is in April, probably April 20th of this year. So, listen, if we get through that the all-time high before the halving, that will also be historic because that hasn't happened in the 14, 15 years of since Bitcoin's inception.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you're joining the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. We had Bitcoin hit all-time highs, dropped down 9,000. Again, hitting over 72,000, and we know it's going to pull back. Remember, once we get this Ethereum upgrade, we're definitely coming down. And why? It's because of the Fed. But remember, dates are used for a reason. They are selected, so therefore that media can blame it on something else instead of the Fed. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. Now, guys, we have CPI numbers coming out tomorrow. And we know the media is going to twist and turn the narrative. They're saying that inflation is coming down, but guys, we know when we go to the grocery store, we don't see it. When we go into these restaurants, we don't see it. And we have a handful of companies that own everything, and they use different names to give you the illusion of choice. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And we see the boogeyman is right around the corner. We have Microsoft gets hit by the boogeyman. And it's always the same 3 boogeymen. And it's been like this since I've been a child. And I'm an old man. But we know we need that crisis. And we're definitely going to get a big hack. But it's going to be something else included with it. Remember, when they bring us an event, it's going to be something that we never thought of. Remember, guys, these are the greatest producers. You're living a movie. It's nothing but a simulation. And with the technology that they have, they can pull off anything. But never forget, your life is an illusion and TV is your reality. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. Because he knows, when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
We should be waiting for some more data points before we jump to any conclusions. We do have the Consumer Price Index on Tuesday and the Producer Price Index on Thursday.
The Russians involved as well, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's right, David. I just got off the phone with the folks over at CrowdStrike. They say they think this disclosure points to a potentially significant security problem with Microsoft Azure cloud product. The 8K this morning disclosing that Microsoft has been unable to stop an ongoing cyber attack by an entity believed to be the Russian SVR, which is Moscow's formidable foreign intelligence agency. Microsoft says the hacker, which in cybersecurity circles is known by code names including Midnight Blizzard, Nobelium, and Cozy Bear, has been using information stolen from corporate email systems to gain access to some of the company's source code repositories and internal systems. The company says the Russians have stolen secrets shared over email between customers and Microsoft, that Microsoft has been reaching out to its customers to assist them in mitigating the damage from all that. The company says the volume of some aspects of this attack increased by as much as 10 times in February, so this is clearly a serious and ongoing situation. It's worth noting here that Microsoft first saw this campaign in January, and 2 months later, they still have not been able to push the attacker out of their systems. And Microsoft's language around this attack has been particularly dire, saying in January that given the vast resources of a nation-state attacker, quote, "We are shifting the balance we need to strike between security and business risk. The traditional sorts of calculus is simply no longer sufficient," and saying today that this attack, quote, "reflects what has become more broadly an unprecedented global threat landscape." Guys, back over to you.
Microsoft can't deal with it. Given the resources of that company, which are more or less as big as any you could ever think about, it does pose some serious questions, I guess, Amy.
Yeah, I mean, there's almost a plaintiff note in these filings by Microsoft saying, look, we're under attack by a nation-state attacker here, which has vast resources which dwarf even what Microsoft can bring to the fight. So clearly, this is a nation-state problem, and you do wonder, and we'll ask, what the U.S. government has been doing here, what the NSA, CISA, and the other defensive organizations inside the U.S. government have been doing. But clearly, Microsoft has a significant problem here, and also its customers now have a significant problem here. If they've been emailing about sensitive details with Microsoft leadership, some of that information is likely now in Russian hands as well, David.
Well, Eamon, it seems rarely a day goes by that there isn't news of another hack of some kind. I mean, I know this is one of the many beats you cover for us, but you're awfully busy. Are things just continuing to worsen when it comes to intrusions?
Yeah, I mean, I think you've got a couple things happening, right? We've got nation-state actors really aggressive, particularly in an election year ahead of 2024. You've also got a resurgence of ransomware attacks from criminal gangs as well after the Ukraine invasion. A lot of that activity dipped, but now it's back in force. So two things happening simultaneously, which really show that there's a surge of this kind of activity, and companies have to be on the defense here, David.
Yeah, or at least, and also disclose. I mean, again, UNH, for example, yet another example, right?
And new rules from the SEC mandating disclosure. So we're seeing a lot of this come out in public, which otherwise would maybe not have been disclosed publicly.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity, and as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we can have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets. Now,
it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 Kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know, I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.